The following video tutorial is going to cover the profile generator on your website. So first off, what is the profile generator? The profile generator is what will be used in the system to generate the questions that your members will fill out when they join the website. So for example, I'm going to just take a moment and go to my own profile, and I'm going to come here to edit profile. When your member is joining the website, they're going to be asked a series of questions about themselves that are going to include, the spouse, partner, homepage, occupation, children. These are some of the ones that are currently set up on my website itself, and many of these are actually set in here by default. Many administrators like to customize the questions that are asked on the profile generator. And so let's take a quick look here at the profile generator page itself. So under your admin functions, you're going to go to profile generator. And now we kind of give you a quick overview here as to what the profile generator is, and you can read that when you go to the profile generator page. We also give you a link here, and I'm going to click on that for just a moment. It says check out our list of great profile questions that get a response. So basically, this is our idea list for you for creating questions of your own to add to the profile generator. So take a look at that list when you have a chance. And then we give you information here on how to use this feature. So we start off by saying below you will find the default items currently make up your classmate profiles. Begin by deactivating any default fields you do not wish to keep. Don't worry, you will not delete any of the classmate answers by doing this. You can always reactivate those fields at any time you wish, and your classmates' responses will return. So please note here, what we're asking you to do is if there are any items on this list that you don't want to use, we don't want you to change them. We don't want you to edit them. We would like you to do is just turn them off. So you'll see here there is a button that says active. So what we would ask you to do is just uncheck the active box. There's a reason for that, because if you were to change the meaning of this field, so let's, for example, it says resides in. Question number 2 says resides in, and the system is looking for an answer that somebody's going to say, for example, a state or a region or a city. If you change the meaning of this, let's just say you change the meaning of this one to how many children do you have? And somebody answers the question here 2. Well, the problem is our system will be using the information of resides in and then give the answer 2. So in this case, what we would say is if you don't want to use this particular question, you'll just turn it off by unchecking the active button. We also, in terms of how to use this feature, we also offer what is called a hint. So I'm going to show you in detail further down the line here of how to use the hint, but let me just talk about it really quickly. In this question number 3, we have a question that asks your spouse or partner. And under hint, it says optional, leave blank to not include in your profile. So that's kind of the hint option there that you put with it. And this will show up next to the answer field for the spouse partner question on the profile. So you're able to add hints to help guide the answering of the questions. And then it says note, only questions answered by your classmates will appear on their profile display. Any unanswered questions will be omitted. So you don't have to worry about unanswered questions, a bunch of them on the page that are just blank, because if they have not been answered, they will not display. Tips. Keep your headings or questions concise, 10 words or less. And I really do stress this. It's better to have those show up really short. There are specific reasons for that, but it will make the user interface work a lot better. And end your headings or questions with a colon or question mark. So it's probably just best to format them that way. Okay, we also have a show help button here. So I'm just going to click on that for a second. And this is going to show some of the help information about this section. We have arrows that move your questions up and down. Then we also have default questions and deactivated questions and custom questions. And they're designated by these different colors. So when I scroll back down, I'll show you that information. We also give you information here about the radio buttons and the drop-down lists. This is information about how people are answering the questions and the type of answer that you'll be providing. For those of you who have already watched our Survey Maker video, the surveys are set up kind of similarly to this. So you'll be able to see each one of these as we go along, but let me just cover them quickly. Radio buttons are answers that are only one at a time. A drop-down, it gives you the option to fill out drop-down answers, and they can select from that drop-down. The checkboxes. Checkboxes, you can select more than one answer. So this would be good for this particular one, which was, who were your favorite teachers? Yes or no questions. It's simply yes or no, and you can only answer one or the other. A short text is, for example, which elementary school did you attend? And so you're going to just give a very short answer for this, Adams Elementary or whatever it may be. And then a comment box. And the comment box is where you would enter a more like a paragraph type of answer. Okay, with those help items in mind, I'm going to go ahead and close this. And we can start looking at the questions themselves. Now, once again, the blue questions are the default questions. These ones are in the system by default. And once again, I'm going to stress that you do not change the meaning of these. Now, you can change the words. You can change the questions themselves in terms of how they are stated, but do not change the meaning of them. One of my examples earlier was the residing in. You can change this to where do you live, because that gives you the same type of result, but you really don't want to change the meaning of these. If you don't need a question, simply deactivate it. You'll be given the opportunity down below to add any custom questions that may fit better for you. So as soon as I hit unchecked the active checkbox, you'll see it turned this darker shade of gray. Okay, and then let's go over the arrows now. So if I wanted to change the location of the order of these up and down buttons work just simply as if I want to move this one down, I moved it down. Now spouse partner shows up as number 4. If I want to move it back up, I can just click the up arrow and it moves it back up to number 3. So these up and down buttons will move your order for your questions around on the profile. Okay, so the system is set up with numerous questions by default, but let's skip down here towards the bottom, and I want to show one that I have just recently set up, and this one is called it's question number 12, and I've just called it music member. By doing this, all I've done is I've gone in at the bottom here and I've clicked on add another question. It gave me the opportunity to create my own custom question, and I've simply labeled it music member. Now, there's a reason why I've done it this way, and I'm also using, in this particular case, I'm going to use the checkboxes option for answering yes or no. typically you might be thinking, well, why am I not using the yes or no questions? Well, in this case, I also want to do something very special, and I want to create a custom icon to go along with the music member. So in this case, I only want people who have been a part of the program, the music program, to answer this. So we're going to put a checkbox here. And down in the hint, we actually can give them special directions. It says, were you involved in the music program? ? Check the box only if you were involved. And then just below that, we have it active. Now I can require this. I would not want to require this as an answer field for somebody, because if they check it, it's going to trigger the icon, and I don't want to do that. So I'm not going to require this question. And then down here in the answers, when I clicked on answer, I've filled out one that says yes. Now, with all of that in mind, I want to take a look at what the result of this is. So I haven't changed anything here, so I'm going to go to my own profile page. So I'm going to click on Edit Profile. And as I scroll down, we're going to come to this one here. It says Music Member. And there's a check mark, and I checked it yes. And it says, were you involved in the music program? Check the box only if you were involved. So I've checked yes. So what is the result of all this? When I go to the profiles page, on the profiles page, we have a legend at the top of the page. And this legend will populate with little icons, and will also make the page sortable to those icons. So for example, the one that I just added was this one right here that says Music Member, and there's one. Now I can either scroll down the page and look for the icon, and there it is next to my name, or I could actually click on the link here and it resorts the page for us, and it only gives the profiles that have that icon checked. So that's actually very, very nice feature of the system for sorting the page. Refresh the page here. If I go back and I click on one of the other ones here, profiles since you've last visited, it shows those really easily. I have an event that's set up in the system. It's attending meet and greet, and it shows that 2 have registered. So I can click on that, and it'll show who has registered. So this is actually one of the nice reasons why you might want to add a custom icon to one of your questions. So let me go back to the profile generator. And when I come back down here to question number 12, okay, so when I've created this, now in order for me to add the custom icon, you have to create your question first. So we've created the question. And once you've created that question, you must hit Save Changes at the bottom of the page to make that new question stick. Once you've done those 2 things, now you have the option of going to Edit Site Pages and looking for the Profiles page, and you're going to come over to the option that says Custom Icon. And when I click on Custom Icon, it gives you the option to create a new icon. And in this case, I've already done this process. In fact, there is a help video right here that says how to make your own icon. So you'll want to come back and watch that later on. But what you just simply do is come back down here and find the question that you've added. And I said Music Member. And once I've done that, once I've checked on that, then it asks me a little bit further information to choose an image to upload, or we give some preloaded icons right here for you to choose from to add to the system. And when you hit Save Changes, the result is that on the Profiles page, the icon will be added. So let's go back to the profile generator. And I'm just going to scroll back down to the bottom here and show. So once again, the blue questions are default questions. And then a light gray question like so is a custom question in the system. And then any questions that are not checked as being active, like this one is now, and I'm going to deactivate this one. Those two now are deactive and so deactivated, and so they are this darker gray color. Once again, when you make these changes, you do need to remember to go all the way to the bottom of the page and click on Save Changes for those changes to take. All right, so I'm going to scroll all the way to the bottom of the page one more time, and we're going to add another question. And so right away it pops up, question number 15. And in this case, I might want to ask a question like, how many grandkids do you have? And in this case, I might want to use the radio buttons. And down here, I will click on Add an Answer. And I can go with 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it may be many. You might want to just say something that says greater than. Or you might want to make these ranges. There's many ways to answer this question. So that's, once again, an easy way to add a question and how to add the answers. So let's try one more. I'm going to add another question. And in this case, I'm going to use let's just show how to use the comments box. And in this one, I'm going to say favorite story from high school. And then you can give them a hint here. You might want to say this is add your favorite memory. So once again, when I hit Save Changes and I go to the profile, edit profile, that is going to show up, in this case, favorite story from high school, and it's going to show up as a comment box for them to fill in. So once again, I would recommend that you take time to think about the questions that you want to ask. And again, we have this great list of many questions that you can use to help connect your members together. This will give them a lot of common ground that will allow them to interact with each other on the website. Because many of them haven't seen each other in many years, but it will act as a conversation starter for your members. So I do highly suggest that you take the time to develop out the profile generator the best you can. And if you have any questions, let us know. Otherwise, we will see you in the next video tutorial. Thank you.